Welcome to The Common Fan, your go-to podcast for SEC smack talk, top 25 game day predictions, and fan-first football takes in college or the NFL. Here is your host, Bryce Tillman. So grab a drink, pull up a chair, and let's talk ball.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Common Fan. I'm your host, Bryce Tillman, and thank you so much for making us a listen every single day. Today starts the Monday recaps that we will have coming on the show. We'll be recapping NFL preseason that happened over the weekend. We'll be covering Missouri and Kentucky's schedule breakdowns and predictions for the season. And then we're going to give a shout out to a hometown recruit that we had making a major commitment this past Friday. Joining me, as he always does, Cameron Williams. Glad to have you on for another show. And Cameron, when we're kicking today's show off, what better way to do it than introducing a young, talented athlete from our hometown at Greene County High School?
Yeah, Jace Matthews, man. That dude, he's been a star at Greene County High School the past few years. And to have someone from small town Leaguesville, Greene County, going D1, it's a big deal in our community. So we're excited for him for sure.
Yeah, I was able to come in from work Friday evening and swing by the Greene County High School at their opening house where he was going to be making his announcement and got to see it in person, so it was awesome. So Jace Matthews, for those that are tuning in that don't really know who he is, he's a 4-star wide receiver coming out of Greene County High School. Several outlets have him ranked as the number 2 wide receiver in the nation, and Rivals has him listed as a top 100 athlete. 247's got him just inside the top 200. He's on every outlet that I've seen. He's a top 10 player in Mississippi. Jace sitting at 6'2", 180 pounds. And I have his stats right here too, if I can get them to pull up. But yeah, man, just full of talent. Kid's got a great attitude, a great, will to learn and want to grow. Matter of fact, his Hayes Fawcett X tweet that got put out was, let me pull it up right here real quick, but it said something along the lines of that he's ready to get to Auburn and let them get his full potential out. So that just shows the humbling of the kind of kid that he is. Yeah, it says that his direct quote from Hayes Fawcett was, "Can't wait until I meet my full potential, War Eagle." And that just speaks right there that he knows that he's got a lot to learn, and that he's willing to learn, and that this kid knows what his potential is. So that says a lot to me.
Yeah, and he's going to a really good program. I think Auburn has turned things around. Hugh Freeze has really rejuvenated that program, and you talked about it as well. Deuce Knight is going to be there with him. Neighboring county guy. I think there's big things out of them two coming.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, it's showing that Hugh Freeze has the ability to evaluate players past star rankings, past national rankings, and he sees the potential for these kids for who they are. And look, the town that Jace is from is our hometown. It's just so small. If Jace was somewhere with this type of talent in some major town and in Texas where high school football is a lot bigger thing, or in Florida or even Georgia, he would be getting a lot more recognition than what he got. But he did. I mean, his Final Four was Ole Miss, Texas A&M, LSU, and Auburn. And Auburn was able to get in there and build that relationship with him. Coach Marcus Davis has done a phenomenal job as the wide receivers coach at Auburn, getting in a generational talent like Jace Matthews, in Greene County, and then our neighboring county, as you said, George County, picking up Deuce this last recruiting cycle, just shows that Auburn is Hugh knows the talent that comes from this area. And if that don't motivate any young athlete between Perry County, Greene County, George County, all them coastal schools that already get the recognition, but smaller schools, even across the state lines in Alabama right there, Citronelle stuff. I mean, that shows the potential. If this kid can come from Greene County right here as a 4-star composite athlete, which I have a good feeling, Cam, that at the end of his senior season, Rivals will have him as a 5-star. When they do their in-season evaluations, I'm pretty confident to go ahead and put that prediction in that Jason, he will get his 5th star through Rivals, which will make him a 4-star plus crew 5-star composite ranking, and that's huge. I'm happy for him. I'm happy for his mom, the Matthews family. Congratulations. That's a big deal, man.
And those Greene County folks, we're pulling for him, ain't no doubt.
Yeah. Now he got up, and he put the Ole Miss hat on, right? The gym went berserk. They went nuts. They was all about it, and then he pulled it off. Cam. Then he grabbed that Auburn hat, put it on, stood up and said War Eagle. And there was a few fans that got a little quiet and they got real loud again. So it was all fun. I'm happy he got to experience that. And hey, I looked over at my wife. I said, is it too early for me to go ahead and buy my Auburn jersey? She said,
no, it's not. It's not too early.
She said, well, you might want to find out what number he's going to be first.
Yeah, that's pretty important. Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to go ahead and kick things off now. We're going to jump right into this preseason NFL recap from week 1. And, Cameron, it is that time of year that we are watching football, and it has got my veins pumped, baby. Ice through my veins. I love it.
Yeah, I was watching. That's what I've done today. Yeah, I've laid on the couch and watched football. And it was a game on earlier today. It was 24-24 in the fourth quarter, and I was getting pumped up in a preseason game.
Yeah. So we're going to go in and just go over some scores. Cameron, I know you said you put some stats together, some things you wanted to highlight and touch on. So as I'm reading these score predictions out, if you've got somebody that you want to give a shout out to and talk about their performance, just cut in or let me know. Hey, we'll touch on it. But we're going to go back from Thursday right now. This started out with the Colts versus the Ravens. Ravens ended up coming out on top, 24-16. Jones for the Indianapolis Colts was 10 for 21, 144 yards. And Doolin, wide receiver for Indianapolis, had 3 receptions for 54 yards, but the Ravens come out on top. Then you had the Bengals versus the Eagles. I watched most of that game. That was a pretty good one. 34-27, Eagles ended up winning that game. McKee for Philadelphia was 20 for 25, 252 yards and 2 touchdowns. Pretty good little stats right there.
Yep.
Then you had the Raiders and the Seahawks go at it. Milroe played a lot. O'Connell played and ended up being a tie at that game, 23-23. O'Connell was 18 of 30 for 205 yards, 1 touchdown. Jackson, the wide receiver for Las Vegas, was 4 receptions, 76 yards, and a touchdown. Then you come into Friday. This game was weird. This Lions versus Falcons game, they had an injury that come in, and the guy fractured his neck, I believe, if that memory serves me right. But they stopped the game in the fourth quarter. They suspended the game after that injury. So these teams it was 12 minutes left on the clock, and they were literally just standing on the field, just killing the clock out. It was just a weird situation. I don't really remember that ever happening, to my knowledge. Lions did end up coming away with that win, 17-10, and speedy recovery for the injured player. I don't have his name right here. Maybe I can click on it, and it might give me some information on that.
I forgot it too. I'll look it up too.
Let's look at it.
I tell you what was cool about that. It was Maurice Norris, yeah.
Okay.
What was cool about that, though, is I don't think the booth didn't know what they were doing, and that's what kind of threw everybody off. So they get down to snap the next play, and they snapped, and they just stood there and stopped, and then everyone gathered around in the center and started praying. That was cool, man. I know it's a preseason game, didn't mean much, but to stop in the fourth quarter when everybody's trying to make a statement for themselves to let life be bigger than what they are, that's a big thing. I enjoyed that. I hate for the injury, but to see people come together like that was cool.
the unity of it, right? I mean, life. I mean, as much as we love and enjoy football, man, it's just a game, right? And then life has a lot more to it than just ball. So I'm with you. That was something good to see. This next game, you had some stuff you want to touch on it, and then I do as well. The Browns versus the Panthers, and the Browns won this game 30-10, and all you can say is Shedeur Sanders. I mean, played some ball, baby. Talk about it a little bit. I know you got the stats right there.
Yeah. So, man, I think he played just about the entire game, but he went. He threw for 138 yards, threw two touchdowns, went 14 for 23, and 60.9 completion percentage, 106 rating, QB rating. And dude, I was watching it, and all the hype that's been around Shedeur, and then if his dad's name was what got him to where he was, but that dude came out, did not throw interception, he threw some dots, man. He threw into coverage in the end zone for his first touchdown. There was 3 defensive backs around the guy who caught the ball. I mean, it was impressive. But he played really good, and to see him, he didn't get into pressure. He wasn't beside himself. You can tell he wasn't nervous. He was calm, cool, and collective, and he made plays. And I'm not one to say I'm just no big Shedeur fan or anything like that. I just followed him because of the hype around him. But to see him come out and deliver like that, I'm kind of like, okay, well, I'm getting behind the hype a little bit. The dude played ball, so I think he's doing good.
Yeah, and the Panthers did not do good at all. Now, Bryce Young come in and played 2 drives. He hit the rookie receiver, McMillan. Teodoro, I don't know how to say his first name, but Teodoro McMillan, well, I don't know. He was the leading receiver in college football last year at Arizona. I do know that. He comes in, 2 receptions, 43 yards. Bryce Young throws a dot for a touchdown, and his one of only 2 drives that he done. So he showed good flashes, and for the Bryce Young fans out there, that'll give you some hope, man. He looks like he's turning on. But Andy Dalton come in 101 yards for the whole game.
Yeah.
And the Carolina's leading rusher, leading rusher was Amani Bailey, 21 yards. So,
yeah.
3 carries.
Jackson Dart, he put up some numbers for one drive. He didn't play but a quarter at most, I think. 154 yards, 1 touchdown, 12 for 19, 63.2 completion percentage rate, and 100, just like Shedeur, 106 QB rating. But he delivered to some of his hype, but the coach got on to him, which the Dart was hard on himself. He knew there was plays that he missed as well. And he come back to the sideline, and the coach even admitted that he left some stuff out there that he could have made, and he was humble about it and said, I know I need to work on that. So that tells you a lot about Dart too.
Yeah, absolutely. And they won that game, beat the Bills. That's awesome. And let's talk about Drake May and the Patriots absolutely steamrolling the Commanders. I mean, they whooped them good. Hey, Ramondre Stevens, he had a good game. Chisholm had a good game. Ben Woolridge, quarterback, come in for 132 yards, 1 touchdown, but Drake May showed good flashes and showed that he might be the answer for New England this year at QB, so that's awesome to see. Yeah, New England comes away with the win to get them back on track, to get some positive momentum going in. 48-18. We just touched on the Giants and the Bills, 34-25. Giants take the win. Vikings, 20-10 over the Texans. Sam Howell coming in for 11 for 13. Only 2 incompletions. Only had 105 yards. But Mechie was leading Houston with 5 receptions for 45 yards. The Vikings win that game 20-10. Coming in at the Rams versus the Cowboys. The Rams take the win 31-21. Stetson Bennett, 16 for 24, 188 yards, 2 touchdowns. Smith, 3 receptions for 55 yards. And I got to click on this game because I want to see what my boy Jarquez Hunter did on his preseason debut. Running back from Auburn last year, got drafted 3rd round to the Rams. Let's see what he ended up doing, or if he even played for them. Let's see.
While you're looking at
that's loading up, did you have any more stats or anything that you was going to touch on?
Yeah, so Joe Milton started. Well, I don't know if he started. He played for Dallas. 143 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 58.6 completion percentage, 17 for 29, a 68.6 QB rating. So I don't think that he was flashy as Dard and Shador. He made some good plays, but that dude's got a cannon. I seen the interview where they asked him, you got a big arm. How far can you throw? And he pretty much set a football field, 90 yards. I mean, he can throw almost end zone to end zone, and that is a cannon. That's your Hail Mary guy there.
Nice.
But
I don't think that Jarquez Hunter ended up playing for the Rams. Go ahead. I'm just looking. I'm still trying to find
it. I'm just looking over mine. I think the only other stat that I wanted to really put out there was another game you hadn't talked about yet, Jacksonville. Whenever you get to them, I want to touch on that.
Okay, well, yeah, I pulled this up. Jarquez Hunter, 11 carries, 41 yards. Not terrible, averaging 3.7 yards a carry. So good for the Auburn guy in the NFL. Sorry, I just wanted to check on that. I wanted to touch on that while we was there. But, yeah, go ahead to the Jacksonville game. What you got on that?
So Cam Little, kicker. If it would have been regular season game, he would have broke the record for longest field goal. 70-yard field goal. Pretty impressive.
No way. A 70-yard field goal?
If it was a regular season game, it would have stood for a record. 70 yards. Yep. Thought that was pretty good stat there.
Steelers ended up winning that game 31-25 despite a 70-yard field goal from the Jaguars, and Travis Hunter loses his debut in the NFL to the Steelers. Buccaneers take over the Titans for 29-7 to put them. Kyle Trask, 12 for 1,629 yards. The Jets end up beating the Packers 30-10. Martinez coming in at quarterback for the Jets for 11 for 1,652 yards. Cardinals beating the Chiefs 20-17, where Kyler Murray come in at 7 for 896 yards, but it had an interception. And the Broncos steamroll the 49ers 30-9. Jarrett Stidham, another Auburn quarterback from the past, comes in for Denver, 14 for 1,536 yards and 2 touchdowns. Pretty neat that Denver's got 2 Auburn quarterbacks on their roster with Bo Nix, which I guess you could say that Bo come from Oregon. Technically he did, but he played at Auburn. And then you got Jarrett Stidham behind him there. So that's pretty neat. So that was our recap for the week 1 of the NFL. And there has been plenty of these rookies coming out, showing what they can do with the potential in the NFL. And I'm excited for the season. So, preseason's here. Week 1 is over. In a week, we'll have another set of preseason to talk about. So, before we get off the preseason, is there anything else you want to add before we start diving into Kentucky, Missouri schedule and predictions?
No. It's football season, man. It's getting all these young guys in and see what they can do. And I'm ready to see what comes out of these SEC guys from last year. I enjoy watching them.
Hey, speaking of SEC guys from the past, how about Xavier Leggett getting in the fight with the Panthers and getting kicked out of the game?
Yeah.
I mean, he already talks like cornbread, but he was throwing some absolute cornbread makers at that guy for a second, man. Like, he was throwing the dukes at him.
They made Leggett. They did a poll inside the locker room and voted him the most country one in the locker room. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. He said that his favorite meal is coon and sweet potatoes. That is what for him. And he probably meant every word of that he could say.
Yeah, that's funny.
All right. So we're going to break down Kentucky and Missouri, Cameron, and we're going to start with Kentucky. So I'm going to pull their schedule up right here and talk about Kentucky and how, as of right now, before season starts, they're tied for first in the SEC. How about that?
Yeah, they're all first right now. Every one of them thinks they're first. 4-8 last year. 4-8 last year.
4-8 last year. And do you have some players to key on and talk about for Kentucky before we start breaking down the schedule?
Yeah. So Zach Calzada is arguably been in the league long as Diego Pavia. This has got to be his last year, right? But we talked about it a while ago. Berrien Brown transferred, and I know that was a hit. And then we got a Picayune, Mississippi guy as their running back, Dante Dowdle. He'll be interesting to watch. And their number one receiver returning. The other two receivers that are starting are going to be transfers. But that's Jamari Macklin. I guess that'll be the number one receiver go-to. So not a lot of flashiness on that roster, but they think they're going to do big things. We're going to see.
Yeah, I expect this to be Mark Stoops' last year as Kentucky's head coach. It seems that Stoops and Kentucky are we're almost at that point last year, ready to part ways from each other. And you're paying a guy $7 million a year to put out 4-8 records for you. I just see it coming to an end this year. I don't think that the Kentucky will necessarily fire him. I think that he'll probably end up stepping away from the program and be looking for Tulane's head coach John Summerall to be getting a call from Kentucky. And he's a good coach. Will bring a lot of talent there. Probably will hit the transfer portal hard to get that roster back right. But, yeah, speaking on Zach Calzada, man, I mean, this is a kid that started out at, if memory serves me right, he played at Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Lost the starting position from an injury, healed up. He transferred to Auburn. He come through us in the spring, made it through the summer, and in fall camp, right before season starts, he gets hurt, and he's out for the year with a shoulder injury. Yep. Leaves Auburn. After he heals up, he lost the start. That's when Bo Nix come around, and he ended up transferring to Incarnate World, I think is where he went.
Incarnate,
there and done well there, and then now he's getting one last shot in the SEC at Kentucky. But this is no easy slate that Kentucky has this year, so we're going to dive into it. August 30th, they'll be kicking it off versus Toledo. And you know as well as I do, and you probably know more than anybody, that Toledo will whoop the fire out of an SEC team if you ain't careful. Seen it firsthand last year.
Happened to us. Yep.
So I would say that would be an easy game for Kentucky, but honestly, I don't know about Kentucky enough to say, but I will put that down as a 1-0. They should beat Toledo. We'll put it that way. I'll give them the should win there. All right. Following that, September 6th, they got to play Ole Miss. And I'm not even going to really break this game down and go into it. I know that Kentucky beat Ole Miss last year at Ole Miss. But again, we just touched on it. This isn't the same Kentucky team as last season. They fell significantly in talent. And, Lane Kiffin's got that game circled on his schedule.
Yes, so that's what put them out of the playoffs.
I expect Ole Miss to whoop the fire out of Kentucky, and I don't even think it'll be close.
Nope.
I got Kentucky being 1-1 at this point of season, going in third week to Eastern Michigan. Look, it's at Kentucky. Kentucky has to win these games if they want to be relevant this season. You got to beat Toledo. You got to beat Eastern Michigan. I'm going to give Kentucky that game just because they don't need to lose them, and nothing right now tells me that Eastern Michigan would come to Kentucky and beat them. Mm-hmm. So give me 2-1 Kentucky right now. This is where it gets brutal, Cameron. At South Carolina, at Georgia, go to Texas. Texas comes to you. Tennessee comes to you. You go to Auburn, and then you got Florida coming to you. How brutal is that 6-game stretch right there?
Dude, that's nasty. That's you just got cleaned out. That's that whole little area right there. It's gonna be a blur.
Look, I don't even want to break this down game by game. Again, South Carolina, Georgia, Texas, Tennessee, Auburn, Florida. Kentucky fans, I'm sorry, you're going 0-6 in that. I don't see y'all sneaking a win out of any of those teams right there. And I know it's the SEC, and I know that you could, upsets can happen. It happened last year. But I just think with South Carolina, going to South Carolina, going to Georgia, and then you got Texas coming to you. Them three are out there. They're playing for national championship bids, man. They're trying to go. They're not dropping these games like that. Somebody like Kentucky. I definitely have them going 0-3 right there. This next 3-game stretch with Tennessee, Auburn, and Florida, you might can squeak you one out right here. You might can. I know that Auburn come to Kentucky last year, and Jarquez Hunter had his career high in rushing for over 300 yards. 300 yards just in rushing by himself. And, there's no additions that's been made to this team to make me think that couldn't happen again for either of these 6 teams that I just mentioned. So, I'm not giving them a safe pick here. I think Tennessee beats them, Auburn beats them, and Florida beats them, and they go 0-6 in that stretch. And that puts them at 2 and let's see, 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2 and 7 up to the point playing Tennessee Tech November 15th. And I have them beating Tennessee Tech November 15th. That would put them at 3 and 7. These last 2 games, I don't know what to make of it. November 22nd at Vanderbilt, November 29th at Louisville. I'll let you give your thoughts on them last 2 games for them. I've got up to this point Kentucky being 3 and 7 at Vanderbilt, at Louisville, and you have to assume if they're 3 and 7 at this point, Mark Stoops has probably already stepped away from the program.
So that's my take, and I know you was talking about John Sumrall, but I want to throw something at you on that. What about the John Gruden hype? He would love to be in the SEC. He's done come out on all these interviews here lately. To me, I think Mark Stoops is on the hot seat, the hottest of hot seats, and the only one that'd be close to him would be Napier if he doesn't do good in Florida, and then Sam Pittman at Arkansas. That's my 3 hot seat guys if it don't fare well throughout the season, but. I could see John Gruden taking that job because he's not a real Southern guy. His wife's from Tennessee. I could see him taking that job and being in the SEC there. But to carry on with that point, I have them going 3 and 9. I have them losing to Vanderbilt and Louisville because I don't think that roster can sustain that stretch. That 6-game stretch, and even the break from Eastern Michigan to Ole Miss, I think that whole stretch right there is going to be brutal to their roster. And we know how Zach Calzada's injury past is, so I'm not wishing him any bad luck or injustice on that. But I don't see him. I think they take a hit, and then they're beat down to where Diego Pavia and Louisville is that's gonna be the rivalry game. Louisville and Kentucky, anyways. Bad luck, Kentucky, and I think Louisville is the better team for sure.
Do you think that Kentucky would consider Gruden over John Sumrall? You gotta assume that Gruden would come with a tax. You gotta assume that he would be a high. Like, it would cost some money to get him as your coach. And I just don't know if John Gruden would be interested in the Kentucky job. That's not a very flashy job. That's not somewhere that a legendary coach like Gruden would want to go and coach at. I have a hard time wrapping my head around John Gruden would be interested to go be the Kentucky Wildcats head coach. Now, a name that I have seen pop up, and I'd put this in your head to let you think if he would do this. But I seen where Jimbo Fisher's buyout's over and he's ready to get back to college football.
Yep.
Could we see a round where Jimbo Fisher would consider taking the Kentucky head coaching job?
Yeah, he wants back in. I listened to a podcast earlier today. They talked about those two names, Gruden and Jimbo. A lot of people think that the SEC doesn't want Jimbo back in, but he's proven himself. He was a good coach. Now, whether he showed out in the big games or not, is besides the point. He's a proven coach. So I think, yes, I think that they would entertain that the same way with Gruden. Now, whether they can get to what Gruden would want to make, I don't know. I don't know if they got the funds for that. But the fact that Gruden wants to be back in coaching at an SEC program, I don't think that he would pass up an interview. My personal thought.
Maybe not. I just have a hard time. I don't see Kentucky being able to land John Gruden or Jimbo Fisher, honestly. I think that they would go from a group of 5 school for a coach that's wanting to come up, give him a shot, and probably
John Summerall, he's a good coach. That'd be a heck of a land. That'd be picking his resume up and would be a win for Kentucky as well, because you probably didn't have to pay what he would to Jimbo or Gruden. So.
Well, like I said, Mark Stoops is making $7 million a year, and Jimbo would probably get that. And Gruden, I think, would take more than that to get him to go there. And I just don't know if Kentucky's ready to dump that much in their football program. I've talked to a couple Kentucky fans before when it comes to like basketball and stuff, and they'll tell you straight up that football season is just to get them over to basketball to start in November.
Yeah, a basketball team.
If you win them 6, 7, 8 games a year, they're happy as you can be, and you can say that forever. But they are all about basketball. So, yeah, I would say probably somebody like John Summerall or a group of 5 school caliber coach would probably step in there. Maybe a defensive coordinator from somewhere, an offense coordinator at a Power 4 school, ready to get the head coaching experience. Would consider it, but yeah. Sorry, I don't have a lot of faith in the Kentucky Wildcats this year. I got them going 3-9. You've got them going 3-9. And who knows? Maybe they'll come out and shock the world. I just have a hard time seeing it right now.
Their over and under is 4.5, and I'm seeing a lot of everybody's asking what's the guaranteed under, and this is the top team here on that list. So
let's look and see what the odds are from going under versus going over. Kentucky football over and under odds. Let's see. It's pulling up. The over and under for Kentucky 2025 college football is at 4.5. The odds for betting over are at -105. The odds for betting under are -115. So the money is lying under 4.5 wins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Kentucky, man. Y'all just hang tight. One day it'll come. All right. Now we're going to dive into the Missouri Tigers for their schedule of the 2025 season. And this is a team that had a lot of talent last year, was ranked majority of the season, dropped a few big games, and they kind of tend to do that just about year in and year out at Missouri. Get a lot of hype early, kind of fizzle out through the ceiling. Then they'll get a bowl game, then they'll make a big win in a bowl game, and everybody will pump them up all the rest of the offseason. So, got another unproven quarterback coming into the SEC. Not a lot of information around him. Was a backup at Penn State. Don't think he played that much there, or if any. And they are ready to bring him in and start him right away, to my knowledge, from everything I've been seeing.
Well, this is still Eli Drinkowitz, they had a fall camp scrimmage yesterday, and there is no separation in the quarterback competition. It's still Brady Cook versus Bo Perbula. He doesn't know. And I'm thinking, if you're this close to the season, why do we not have a starting quarterback? That's
Brady
my takeaway.
Cook's still there?
Yeah. It's still a competition right now. They don't know who the starter is going to be. So everybody's screaming Bo, but you got to remember, Missouri went 10-3 last year.
No. Brady Cook's at the Jets. He's not at Missouri anymore. I knew
So
that wasn't right.
Who's the competition with?
I had to look it up. I had to look up Missouri's depth, but I knew that Brady was with the Jets. Me and somebody was talking about that the other day. So
let me look it up.
But that says something. That says something right there. If he's not even he's not dialed in as the starter yet already for Missouri, and he was supposed to be your transfer in to win you some ball games, and they don't even know if he's going to be the starter yet. So we'll break down this schedule right here.
I'm sorry.
Pull that
I
up.
said it wrong. I'm so sorry. You're right. It's Sam Horn. That's who I'm thinking of. Sam Horn. Yeah, he was there last year. Him and Brady Cook was battling for the starting spot last year as well.
Gotcha.
Go ahead.
All right, August 28th, they kick things off versus Central Arkansas, and I'm going to give Kentucky a win on that one. You want to?
Nope.
You got that as a win for them?
This
game's pretty neat. September 6th versus Kansas. Kansas comes to Missouri. These two teams used to play a lot when they were in the Big 12 together. I don't know what to make of this game. I mean, I would assume right now, if we was just talking about sheer talent for talent, comparing the two programs, and with it being a home game for Missouri, I'd probably give this game to Missouri to start them out 2-0. What would you say?
Yeah, they better win that game if they want to make their bowl run, I guess, or not even bowl run. They're wanting a top 12 playoff run, but I don't know if they'll make that. But Kansas has a great quarterback, and I think Kansas is going to be very highly rated in their division as well this year. So I think that's going to be a better game than what people realize, but I'm thinking Missouri is going to pull that one out.
Versus South Carolina. South Carolina comes to Missouri, and this is a team that me and you are high on. We are high on the Gamecocks this year. I don't have Missouri winning that game. I have South Carolina winning that game, putting Missouri at 3-1. September 27th, Missouri versus Massachusetts. I have Missouri winning that game, putting them at 4-1 in the season at that point. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, 4-1 right there.
October 11th, they versus Alabama. Playing Alabama, and that is going to probably be a slaughter. I have Alabama winning that game very easily in Tuscaloosa, putting Missouri at 4-2, being 0-2 in the SEC right now. October 18th, Missouri has to go to Auburn, playing Alabama and Auburn back-to-back. It is going to be at Auburn, and things are pointing in the direction that could possibly be a night game in Jordan Hare. Look, Auburn was up big on them last year. Brady Cook come back in the game, hit Luther Burden right over the middle twice in a row to come back and squeak that win out late. Luther Burden or Brady Cook ain't there anymore.
Nope, neither one.
Auburn's got this game scheduled on their calendar, got it circled, ready to go. October 18th, I got Auburn whooping Missouri. I got Auburn taking them to the cleaners in that game. So, up to this point, Missouri has not won a conference game yet, putting them at 4-3. October 25th at Vanderbilt. This is a game I think Missouri could win.
Yep.
At Vanderbilt.
Yeah, that's my game. I got them winning as well.
That would probably put, would give them their first conference win. That would put them at
5-3.
What would we say? 5-3.
Yep.
versus Texas A&M, I have them losing against Texas A&M. You?
Yeah, I agree. I think they lose that game as well.
5-4. I got them versus Mississippi State. Cameron, me and you done the Mississippi State preview. I had Mississippi State winning this game, and I still do.
Yeah,
I'm not swaying off of that. I think this is one of the conference games that State can squeeze out, and I think that Shapen and them will have the team to compete with Missouri. And I think that this is a must grab for Mississippi State, and I think they're going to do everything in their power to win that game, and I think they will. That's going to put Missouri at 5-5.
Yep, I agree. I agree with that.
All right, these next two games determine the outcome of their season, whether it be a sub 500 or a winning record. And I think that they're going to split these next two games.
Me too.
I've got Missouri losing at Oklahoma, and then I've got Missouri beating Arkansas to finish the season 6-6.
Yep, same thing I was thinking too.
You too?
Yep, same thing.
So we've got the Kentucky Wildcats going 3-9, the Missouri Tigers going 6-6 as they wrap up their seasons in 2025. This is a preseason projections for Missouri and Kentucky. And look, Cameron, we might be wrong about both of these teams, but right now I just don't see a clear path of them winning a lot of ball games.
No. And I'll say that I was bigger on Missouri at the beginning of the fall. But after not knowing who your quarterback is going to be with Sam Horn and Bo Pribula and still in the air, that tells me that there's no definite answer there. They said they're having a good fall camp. They didn't have any interceptions in the scrimmage today or yesterday, but still. So the only thing that I'll say that is going to help them is Ahmad Hardy. We know that name.
Oh, yeah.
From ULM. So,
transfer to ULM, very, very talented. I know that Auburn was highly on him, but I think Ahmad Hardy come with a pretty good price tag, and I think Auburn done spent a lot in the portal. So Missouri ended up snagging him. That was a good get for Missouri. And I believe that this year Missouri will rely on that run game a lot.
I do too. I do too. That's what I was going to say. Is he had 1,351 yards last year. Dude, he can run the ball. But now they have had a lot of turnover. I will say that they are ranked 17th in total defense, though. So that gives me a little bit of hope. Overall in the nation, they have a lot of returning production. They're 60% returning production. But
that's collectively on both sides of the ball?
Yep, collectively 44 on offense and 58 on defense. That's the 100th in the nation on offense, which is not good. That's why I say they're not going to do as well as last year because there's 132 teams in the league. So if you're 100th in returning production on offense and you still don't know who your quarterback is, it's not looking good for the offense. Defense is looking decent, but they took one of our number one receivers from State, Kevin Coleman, and that was a hit on us.
Yeah, they did go there. I forgot all about that.
Yep, Kevin Coleman, he's a stud. So there's potential there, and Ahmad Hardy. So
I think Missouri had a pretty decent recruiting class. Let's see. Go ahead. What you was gonna say? I'm gonna pull that up.
I was just gonna touch on that. Kevin Coleman, he had 74 receptions last year, 932 yards. He averaged 12.6 yards per catch per reception, and 6 touchdowns. So he is a jam up receiver. But there's a lot of turnover, so it's hard to say for sure. But I know their odds are 7.5, 7.5. So this has me also putting them on the under.
Yeah, I got them on the under as well. The overall ranking for the 2024 class was 21, and then they finished 13th in transfer portal. So not a terrible recruiting cycle, but I just think you lost too much of your heavy hitter production guys on offense, and you didn't really hit that slam knock out of the park that you needed to, especially not the quarterback position. There was quarterbacks that entered that portal that Missouri could have went and got that would have been a little bit more proven with playing time. I mean, heck, dude, you could have went and got T.J. Finley. He's been playing college football for 11 years now. You know?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll see. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am on that. So
I'm the same, man.
6-6 is what I got them going.
Yeah, they went 10-3 last year, and they actually had a good team last year, but I think they'd take a step back this year, in my opinion.
They did have a 5-star edge sign that added that defense. 6'6", 260 pounds. Williams Nawani comes out of Montana. They had Courtney Crutchfield, a 4-star plus athlete, 43rd in the nation as a wide receiver, so that might help them out a lot. Yeah, they signed a lot of defensive players that are pretty good. So, and going back off the 58 returning percentage, that's basically saying you had 7 starters come back on defense. So that's pretty good odds. So I don't question their defense as much as I question their offense. I think that they're going to struggle on offense, but if their defense can just stay in there and stay tough and let the offense work its kinks out, Missouri might have a little bit better season than what we're giving them. But right now, I'm giving them 6-6, as are you. Well, Cameron, I think this is going to wrap up tonight's show on the Monday edition for the Monday recap of the Common Fan. Thank you for joining in, buddy. I appreciate your time. And
absolutely, it was fun, man. I enjoy it.
We'll see y'all next time. This has been the Common Fan.
You've been listening to the Common Fan. See y'all next time. Same tailgate.